All right, so tomorrow is the quiz day. 9, 6, 18, all right? So number one, you're going to have questions just like this tomorrow. They'll be slightly different. I'm not giving you the exact answers. But I know that if it's absolute value, it's going to be the V, right? The vertex is at, remember it's the opposite. The vertex is at positive 1, negative 3. Okay, because it's got to be the opposite of the inside. Okay, so I'm going to go to 1, negative 3, and put my vertex down. So then from here, it's the V, but this V has a slope of 1/4. So instead of going up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, it's going to be really up 1 over 4. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to go the other direction, up 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So my graph is going to be a much wider, because it's 1/4 as tall, of the absolute value graph, with a vertex at 1, negative 3. Okay? So far, so good. Thumbs up. Domain. How wide is it? Well, it's forever wide, right? So we're going to go for domain. We're going to say the domain x equals, and that's the symbol for all real numbers. Okay, that's the symbol for all real numbers. You can write out all real numbers because every possible x value is on that graph. All x values are on that graph. But now the range is different. To get the range, we're going to reach for our range, right? And there are no y values below negative 3. So the y values just start at negative 3 and go up. It's all y values from y is greater than or equal to negative 3, okay? And that's the range. It starts at a height of negative 3 and goes up. There are no y values below that, so it's just greater than or equal to negative 3. Thumbs up. Okay, good. Okay, number 2. Find the equation of this absolute value graph. So I know the vertex of this is at 0, negative 2. All right? I also know that it seems to go, this has a slope of up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1. So I'm going to write y equals 3 absolute value of x minus 2. The 0 is in there, but I don't need to write the 0 because the 0 is kind of redundant. Okay? Now, can we write this absolute value as a piecewise? Because really, technically, there's two parts of the graph, right? Okay, there are two parts of the graph. There's equation 1 and equation 2. So there are two parts. They both connect, so we've got our borderline. They both connect right here. If I have a, they both connect at 0, don't they? So I'm going to say this. The first equation, equation 1, is a y equals a negative 3x minus 2, right? The second equation is a positive 3x minus 2. So those are my two equations. So when I do a piecewise, I have to say both equations, and then I'm going to say where they exist. So the first equation is a y equals, but f of x and y are the same thing, right? F of x and y are the same thing. So I'm going to say f of x equals a negative 3x minus 2. It starts at 0 and goes back. This graph, equation 1, starts at 0, x 0, and goes back. So I'm going to say if x is less than or equal to 0. Second line, line number 2, it starts at 0 and goes forward. So I'm going to say, all right, it's a 3x minus 2 if. And I got to be a little careful because I've counted the point right here already. I've already put the solid dot. So I'm going to say just greater than 0. I can't count that twice. Can't count this point twice. You could put the equal on either one as long as you count it only once. That makes sense. That was what you're going to ask, right? So if you'd put the equal here, that would have been fine, absolutely fine, but not there. Same answer, okay? I knew you could ask that. Good question. Okay? Thumbs up. Can you do this tomorrow?
I can do this tomorrow.
Good. We should have a lot of A's.
Do you have a question?
Okay. Number 4. I'm going to take out a piece of graph paper. It says graph the piecewise graph, all right? So number 4. Okay, let me get out my ruler, wherever it may be. All right. All right. So I have a borderline at -2, all right? So I'm going to kind of put my borderline at -2. All right. So my borderline is not part of the graph. It's not part of the graph at all. It just tells me where the graph would start and end, all right? So the first graph, start at +3. I'm going to go up to 1, 2, 3. Up 1, over 2, up 1, over 2, back 1, down 2. Okay. Here's my line, but I don't want all of this line. I only want a piece of it, called a piecewise graph. So I only want a piece of it. So what I'm going to do is keep the piece that is less than or equal to -2. So I keep the left-hand side of this graph. I'm going to erase all the rest of this. Quinn did a nice job by circling the sign. So I know I'm going to have a solid dot right there. So there's my first piece. That's my first piece. Second piece, 4, y equals 4 is a horizontal line at 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Except I don't want all of that line. I only want a piece of it. And the piece I want is where it's greater than -2. So I'm going to erase this back half. I'm going to put an open circle right there because there's no equal sign. And I can't count the point twice. It wouldn't be a function. Thumbs up? Yeah. You're not taking notes? Oh, you are. Okay. Okay, moving on. Am I okay to move on? Yeah. Okay, number 5. We are going to graph the function and its inverse, and also we're going to find the equation for inverse. So there's 3 things to do, okay? So first of all, let's graph the original. And I'll graph the original. Let's see what kind of colors I have here. Oh, I got purple. All right. So let's do this one in green. And then I'll do the inverse in like purple, okay? So I'm going to start at -2/3, start at 0. And I'm going to go down 2 over 3, down 2 over 3, right? And there's my original. That's f of x, okay? Now there's a couple of ways to do this, and you guys going point by point will work. It will. So if you want to go point by point, let's check that out. So this is the point 3, -2. This is the point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, -4. And this is the point at -3, 2. And if I want the inverse, all I have to do is just switch those points around. That's one way to do this. And this is a very easy way to get the inverse. Okay, just switch the points around. So I'd have a point at, instead of 6, -4, I'd have a point at -4, 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. I think -4, +6. Yeah. This is at 3, -2, but its inverse would be at -2, 3, right? So -2, 1, 2, 3. Okay. This is the origin, yeah. Yeah, so this point is at -3, 2, so its inverse would be at 2, -3. Okay. And 0, 0 is just going to be 0, 0, okay? Now, if you still won't get it, we have to come up with the equation anyway, right? So possibly when we get the equation, that might be the easier way for you to do it. There's 2 ways to do it. It doesn't matter to me which way you do it. One, you could just graph point by point, switch them around. That's what I just did. So the others, you get the equation and just graph the equation, right? So let's get the equation next. Okay, so the equation, the inverse, we'll start off with, we know it's y equals a negative 2/3 x. F of x and y are the same thing, at least in here, okay? When we get to more advanced, it'll be different, okay? But fx and y are the same thing. So switch the variables. So I'm going to make it x equals a negative 2/3 y. So I switch the variables, right? Now to solve, I'm simply going to do the opposite, right? So the opposite of a negative 2/3 is to multiply by a negative 3/2, right? Wouldn't that cancel? Multiply this by a negative 3/2. So my inverse, I would get a negative 3/2 x equals y. That is the inverse, right? That is the inverse, okay? So instead of writing y, I'll go f inverse of x
We can't see it.
is equal to, thanks Landon, negative 3/2 x. Now let's check my purple line. Does that make sense? Sure, start at 0, down 3/2, down 3/2. So it concurs. My point-by-point line actually matches up to what my inverse line should be, okay? Okay, you ready? Let me go back through this one more time. Let me do this one more time.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it one more time. And I'll do it on a piece of paper that shows all the work, okay? So let's start with right here. F of x equals negative 2/3 x, okay? Y and f of x are the same thing, all right? And the reason we want to do this is because to do an inverse, you have to switch x and y. Again, I'll say it again. To find the inverse, you have to switch x and y. So let's rewrite this as a x equals a negative 2/3 y. Okay, when we solve equations, part of the key to solving equations is to undo it. To undo an equation, you always have to do the opposite. So as far as a fraction goes, the opposite of a negative 2/3 would be a 3/-2, because then that'll cancel with that, right? And that'll cancel with that, and then you'll be left with y. That's why we do the opposite, because it cancels out. What I do to one side, I have to do the other side, so I multiply by 3/-2, right? So I cancel. The fractions are gone. I'm left with y equals, and this is just going to be a negative 3/2 x. That's my inverse. Does that help? Have me go through it a second time? Or, since it is the inverse, I'm just going to write it as f inverse of x. Does that help going through it a second time? Okay. All right. 6. Okay, let's do 6. Okay, another inverse, right? So first of all, let's graph the original. I'll graph the original in green. Start at 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Negative 4, so I'm going to go down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. 4, 1. Here's my line. Here's my f of x. Okay. Now, should we just go straight to the equation? You could go point by point by point, but I'm just going to go to the equation because I think it's faster. Because you got to get the equation anyway, right? So let's just go straight to the equation. Okay. So the equation, and I'll do it over here. Fx and y are the same thing. Negative 4x plus 8. Okay. To do the inverse, switch x and y, right? So I'm going to go x equals a negative 4y plus 8, okay? I have to solve for y, so I'm going to go get rid of the 8, do the opposite, so go minus 8, minus 8. Okay, well that's just an x minus 8 equals negative 4y, right? Divide by negative 4, because that'll clear out the 4. And this answer is okay. X minus 8 over negative 4 is okay. It's okay. But it makes it harder to graph, okay?
Well, we can't see it.
Oh, sorry, Landon. So this answer here is okay. I would accept it. It's just a little bit harder to graph. I'm going to rewrite this as a negative 1/4 x plus 2 for my inverse. Okay? You see a negative 1/4 plus 2. Again, I would take this answer, but this one's easier to graph. You guys agree? Do you see where I got the negative 1/4 x plus 2. Okay, so let's graph that one. So that one's going to start at positive 2, right? And we're going to go down 1 over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down over 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and that's going to be my inverse there. Okay, f inverse of x. Thumbs up. Okay. Turn the page, or am I going too fast? Lanny, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, turn the page. All right, 6. Easiest question on the quiz. Easiest. You guys agree?
Yeah.
So it's just going to be switch the values, -1, 5. Nobody better miss this one.
I'm gonna miss it.
4, 3. All right. 4, 1. 7, -2. Okay, right? Easy squeezy, lemon peasy, right? Piece of cake, right? Okay. Now, number 7. A lot of words, but it's actually, trust me, it's actually pretty easy, okay? So, your class has ordered water bottles for a fun run. The total cost of dollars depends on the quantity ordered. We all know that, if you order bulk, you get a cheaper price. That makes sense? So, that's kind of how it is. So, if you order from 0 to 50, then it's going to cost 50 cents a bottle plus $20. $20 is probably shipping, right? If you order between 50 and 100, it's 40 cents a bottle plus 20. If you order between 100 to 200, it's 25 cents a bottle plus shipping. And if you order more than 200 bottles, it's going to be only 15 cents. Okay, so actually pretty easy to do. So if we want f of 150, just going to plug it in right there, aren't we? F of 150 is going to go into that one because the 150 falls between 100 and 200 bottles. So it's just going to be C of 150 is equal to 0.25 times 150 plus 20. And I'm just going to use my calculator to get that answer. Hold on. 0.25 times 150 plus 20. So I get $57.50. Okay. Okay. Find f of 50. So now this one's a little trickier, but that's okay. We should probably be able to figure it. Does it go in the first or second? Second. Everybody agree? Second because of the equal sign. Good. So C of 50 goes in the second one. It's going to go into that one right there. We're going to go 0.40 times 50 plus 20, and I'm just going to use my calculator. 0.4 times 50 plus 20, and it's going to cost me $40. Okay, how's that? Okay, now what does f of 50 represent? That's it. It's just simply going to be, you ready? It's going to be the cost of 50 water bottles. Okay, now, you guys are probably the brightest and the best, so nobody would be silly enough to lose this or leave it laying around on the floor. Happens, it happens. The bell rings, you're out of here, and then I see this. I look, believe it or not, I see this on the floor. They're gone. I'm like, seriously? So, hang on to this, right? Okay, don't lose it.